Have you ever wondered where all those mystical creatures, powers, and epic symbols in K-pop demon hunters came from? Believe it or not, a lot of it wasn't made up from scratch. It actually exists, at least in the eyes of Koreans. But what's real mythology, and what's just the writers being creative? Let's break it down. Gwishin. Let's dive right into the underworld, a place where ring lights don't shine and skincare routines have given up. Down there, not all demons are created equal. You might not have noticed, but there are two totally different kinds. Some look straight out of a horror movie, with horns and weird bumps, while others look way too human. So, why the difference? Simple answer: Korean mythology. In it, there are spirits called Gwishin, ghosts who couldn't move on because they had some heavy emotional baggage. They're usually dressed in white hanbok, with messy hair and a haunted look like they've gone 400 years without therapy. Meanwhile, in K-pop, demon hunters, our badass girl group constantly faces off against the infamous Saja boys, freaky-looking creatures that seem like they stepped right out of a dark fantasy. But here's the plot twist. The Saja boys aren't ghosts, they're demons. Thing is, they used to be regular humans, probably members of some flopped boy band who made a deal with Gwi-ma, the big bad boss, and turned into immortal, corrupted beings. There's even a subtle clue. In Dr. Han's office, there's a picture of a boy group on the wall. So yeah, the Saja boys were likely a K-pop group who traded their human lives for demonic glory, chasing fame, but hellish edition. Today, we're going to show you all the myths that inspired K-pop, demon hunters. So come with us, and let's dive into another video. Gwi-ma. If ghosts already give you chills, brace yourself. Things are about to get darker. We've reached the final boss, the main villain of the story, Gwi-ma. He's not just some spooky shadow. While our human spirits stuck due to unresolved emotional issues, Gwi-ma was never human. He's pure corruption and darkness, basically the toxic X of the spirit realm. In the series, Gwi-ma is the dark overlord of the afterlife, commanding the forces of evil with flair and serious cruelty. He symbolizes both the spiritual chaos of ancient times and the modern fear of manipulative people who act like they're part of a demonic K-pop group. Even though the name Gwi-ma was made up by the show's creators, it's rooted in real traditions. The inspiration comes from words like akma, devil, and ma, evil spirit, found in Korean Buddhism and shamanism. So no, it's not just made-up fantasy. It actually draws from real myths, horns and all. Mudangs. Right from the start of K-pop, demon hunters, it's clear that huntrix weren't the first to face demons. Before them came other powerful women, the Mudang, real-life Korean shamans. They were the originals, the OGs, the spiritual trailblazers. Back in the Joseon dynasty, Mudang and male shamans, called baksu, had a complicated reputation, sometimes honored as sacred healers, sometimes feared as a threat to the establishment. These women served as living bridges between the spirit world and the human world. Through elaborate rituals involving music, dancing, colorful costumes, and offerings, they communicated with gods, ancestral spirits, and even nature deities. And here's the coolest part: that legacy still exists today. Real Mudangs still perform these ceremonies, especially during healing rituals or Korea's famous ancestral rites. But during Joseon times, shamanism was caught between love and persecution, respected by some, hunted by others. In K-pop, demon hunters, this tension gets turned into an epic backstory. Huntrix are shown as the next generation of spiritual warriors, modern-day Mudangs armed with glitter and supernatural firepower, carrying on an ancient female lineage linked to the Hoonmoon, a timeless spiritual force. Before them came the Sisters of the Sunlight, a legendary trio made up of Ryu Mi-young, Rumi's mother, Celine, and one mysterious third sister that no one knows what happened to. Did she die? Disappear? Or maybe she joined a spiritual survival reality show? This original group was responsible for keeping balance between realms and making sure Gwi-ma didn't sink his claws into our world. In the end, the series makes one thing clear. True power doesn't just come from physical strength or pop star fame. It comes from a powerful legacy passed down from mother to daughter, from shaman to warrior. Before we keep uncovering the mythology behind K-pop, demon hunters, drop a comment below saying myth. 3. If you watched the entire movie and found yourself wondering, why do these girl groups always have exactly 3 members? Know that it's not because of budget limits or dance choreography logistics. It's pure mythology. One of the hidden pillars of the plot is tied to an ancient goddess who protects humanity. Think of her as the ultimate fairy godmother of life. Worshipped for centuries, especially in shamanic practices, she represents the full cycle of existence: birth, life, and death. Always connected to the protection of children and family harmony, she's exactly the kind of divine figure you'd want around when things get tough, or when a baby decides to show up early. Here's a detail many viewers missed. The number 3 isn't just random. In East Asian numerology, 3 is considered the perfect number. It represents the balance between heaven, earth, and humankind. 3 forces, 3 destinies, 3 warriors. Coincidence? Not at all. That's mythology disguised as a girl group. In the series, this symbolism appears right from the start. The trio known as the Sisters of Sunlight followed this tradition and carried it forward. Because hey, if you've got a team that's balancing the universe, you don't mess with it. So the next time you see a trio of girls fighting demons with flawless hairstyles and perfectly synced magical moves, remember, behind every dance step, there's a little ancient wisdom. Hanbok, let's talk about that unforgettable moment in the Your Idol music video when the Saja boys show up wearing long black outfits and those tall black hats. This boy band doesn't just attack, they strut through chaos like it's fashion week. Every time they appear, it's like a supernatural magazine cover shoot, blending the elegance of Joseon Dynasty court fashion with the dark side of the Force. Their outfits are long, black as midnight, with cinched waists and silhouettes that demand attention. They're not just dressed for battle, they're ready for the cover of Darkness Monthly. And that wide-brimmed hat, the gat, once reserved for noble Yangban men, now it's a symbol of chic menace. The shadow it casts covers the glowing eyes of the Saja boys like it's saying, you don't know if they're about to curse you or seduce you with a single glance. To top it off, golden chains, talisman-style accessories, and blood-red stitching that screams 2 favorite hobbies: performing forbidden rituals and shopping at underworld tailors. Saja. In traditional Korean beliefs, the Joseung Saja are famous soul reapers, beings who guide the dead into the afterlife with all the calm professionalism of an underworld HR manager. They're neutral, respected figures who simply do their part in the life and death cycle. But K-pop, Demon Hunters flips all of that upside down. The Saja boys are a corrupted, hyper-stylized version of those soul guides. Not only did they abandon their sacred duties, they decided to crash the world of the living. With synchronized moves, intense stares, and jaw-dropping outfits. Yes, they're demons, but with stage presence. Also, the word Saja means lion, which is why the animal appears as the Saja boys' symbol. That mix of idol and dark entity isn't random. Eastern mythology loves playing with the duality between beauty and danger. What looks beautiful can kill. What smiles can deceive. Blue Tiger. In K-pop, Demon Hunters, one of the most memorable supernatural beings isn't a thousand-eyed demon or a vengeful ancient spirit. It's a tiger, a blue one, and with the kind of face that says, I know way more than everyone else in the room. The first time it shows up, it's pretty subtle, just Jinu's pet. At first glance, you might have thought, oh, what a stylish giant blue cat, right? But hold that thought. This isn't just Tumblr core in Joseon style. That majestic feline is actually the white tiger, guardian of the West, one of the most revered celestial beasts in East Asian mythology. He's part of the legendary group called the Four Symbols, along with the black tortoise, the red bird, and the blue dragon, basically the Avengers of the spiritual world, only ancient. Traditionally, this tiger is the protector of sacred mountains, especially the mountain, and is linked to virtues like courage, loyalty, and justice. But wait, there's more. It was said that these tigers could sniff out lies, repel dark energy, and even act as spiritual messengers. In other words, not only is this big cat beautiful, it's also a living lie detector. In K-pop, Demon Hunters, the blue tiger isn't just there to complete the aesthetic. It represents ancestral strength, cosmic balance, and, of course, another subtle clue that Jinu definitely knows more than he's letting on: crow. In Korean mythology, there's another legendary creature called Samjok-o, a three-legged crow often associated with the sun, imperial power, and that kind of ancient wisdom that silently judges your every move. Traditionally, it's a symbol of heavenly authority, used by kings and emperors to show they had divine approval. But in K-pop, Demon Hunters, of course, Samjok-o gets a serious upgrade. Here, it's reimagined as a full-on multi-dimensional crow with eyes all over its body. This creature never shows up randomly. It appears during intense spiritual moments, usually when the warriors are being tested. Its presence stands for wisdom, vigilance, and the spiritual world keeping a close watch on the living to make sure no one escapes the consequences of their actions. And with that many eyes, good luck lying, cheating, or hiding your feelings. Samjok-o sees it all, including Rumi's secret crush and Jinu's inner conflict. Hoonmoon. In K-pop, Demon Hunters, one of the key elements maintaining peace between realms is something called the Hoonmoon, a powerful spiritual seal that works like an invisible fence, keeping demons from crossing into the human world and making the usual mess. According to ancient Joseon-era beliefs, the Hoonmoon is much more than just a pretty symbol. It's basically a sacred contract between the living and the spirit world, created by shamans to keep the universe in balance. In Korean tradition, written words, rituals, and symbols weren't just decorative, they were real magic. So Hoonmoon isn't just symbolic, it's a legit spiritual wall holding everything together. In the series, the Huntrix are the last warriors assigned to protect that sacred legacy. They're not just fighting demons, they're on a mission to make sure the so-called Moon of Honor, the heart of the seal, doesn't break. Because if it does, you can start prepping for full-on demon apocalypse on Earth. Their dream? To create the Golden Hoonmoon, a supercharged, unbreakable version of the seal, strong enough to lock the demons in their dark realm for good. Because let's be real, when you're sealing demons, failure is not an option. K-pop. Demon Hunters dives deep into Korean mythology, blending ancient tradition with fantasy, emotion, and a dash of mystery. If you're into the world of animation, we've got 2 more videos you're gonna love watching. Thanks for joining us, and see you next time!